Hey guys, Laura Jane here, and I'm coming to you from my early morning pajamas. Just did my 1 hour of just sitting meditation that I've re-added, and knowing that's such a great way for me to really connect with myself. And part of what I get to do in that sitting meditation leads me to wanting to make this video. And the reason I'm making it as I think of it in my pajamas is because I'm feeling in touch with this truth about inspiration and creativity, that it can be really helpful if we just act on it as it strikes. And so I could have written down this idea and then waited till later and gotten myself all fluffed up and fancy and done a more formal video, but I'd rather share with you as it just came through me and as I'm in the inspiration, and knowing that's actually going to be even more fun for you to watch. So even though I'm in my pajamas and probably still have a little mascara under my eyes. So, part of what we get to do with our practices that I'm realizing is so valuable is we get to deal with our feelings. And I think we all know and notice that for years, most of us have been a little bit messed up about our feelings, right? We're either not letting ourselves feel them enough, we're not in touch with our feelings, or we're getting completely terrorized and traumatized by our feelings. So, and how many of our addictions and habits and things have to do with our feelings, are either just finding ways to deal with our feelings or trying to avoid feelings we're having about various things in our life. So I'm really realizing part of what we get to do with things like just sitting meditation is, and also journaling and even on a walk, and really it's just a perspective, but being in more of a place where we're willing to notice our feelings and be present with them and even allow them. And maybe use our tools to free up our feelings and to move through our feelings, and yes, to transmute and transform our feelings. But it seems like it's totally time for us to develop a new relationship with our feelings, and I'm super excited to see that we can use these practices, like just sitting in meditation in any comfortable position and checking out, watching the show of the mind. And through that, we get to also notice the feelings that are coming up. And now, though, instead of maybe blocking them or distracting ourselves or acting out on them, we just sit there with them and we feel them, and we notice the thoughts that go along with them. And then we find ways to move through that and maybe even love that a little bit more as a way to free it, as I've gotten from Kyle Cease. So, like, one of the tools I've gotten from Kyle Cease is that during meditation you could use the sentence, and I love that, when you notice something that feels hard or difficult, or like even a truth you've been avoiding about how you feel about something or how you're thinking about something. And so instead of, like we've done in the past, holding it down, blocking it, not allowing it, and all the ways that that may manifest, now we get to be with it and allow ourselves to feel it a little more, and even use some of our tools like breathing and relaxing a little bit more and just being present and open. And then, yeah, this tool of, and I love that, can actually shift it so that we can embrace it a little bit more, and that actually frees it. So to develop a different relationship with our feelings, so helpful and important and powerful, and really what we can be doing with all of these reconnecting practices that we can build into our lives. And then another piece, though, that seems interesting, because then after my sitting meditation and me being in this place of it's so important to just feel all our feelings, and all feelings are okay, right? But there is a flip side to why we'd want to move towards feeling better sooner than later. And I'm sorry, but I feel that this is true, and a lot of teachers do. I say, I'm sorry, it's like, who doesn't feel like they want to feel better, right? And there's lots of reasons that feeling better feels better that we can get into in a spiritual way, which I love. So maybe I'll share that on this video or a future one. But one of the reasons to feel better, more like now, as we let ourselves feel the feelings, as we free them up, but the reason not to get stuck in the feelings, and the reason not to dwell, and the reason to, yes, build in ways to also move towards feeling better, is this whole energy piece of our existence. And yes, building in this awareness of things like what you call the law of attraction. And you may or may not feel like you believe in that. It may piss you off. Or you may totally recognize that it's true and, like me, still be realizing what that means and what role you play in that. So the truth in the law of attraction idea is that we are an energetic being, and we're always sending out energy, a vibe, and that vibe is creating our reality and is attracting back more of the same, whether it's in who we rendezvous with, what versions of the people we rendezvous with. So like when we wake up cranky, we're more likely to meet a cranky version of our partner. And we're more likely to stumble through our day and even have misaligned moments versus the more aligned we're feeling and good, the more good feeling moments and rendezvous and interactions happen. So it's this truth that really all the religions talk about. Even Jesus talked about this if you look at the Bible. So that's this interesting piece that I even just realized this morning is both sides. Yes, we need to get better at feeling our feelings, allowing our feelings, being with them, freeing them up. But yes, moving towards feeling better sooner than later. So because of this truth about law of attraction, and I just wrote it down that Abraham said, I was listening to a little Abraham Hicks that really got me to see this, even though I'm sure I've heard this a million times, it really clicked in as I heard this newer Abraham, is your future is going to be full of what you're feeling right now. So it's not something to scare us, but it builds in a responsibility that, let's deal with our feelings, let's free up our feelings, let's build in ways to keep attending to our feelings, and that they're just energy too, but also own that right now we're sending out a vibration, and that vibration is creating our future. So it's an interesting concept. Again, it might piss you off, but it also can empower you. And it's really fun to play with. And you'll probably notice it's true that depending on how you're feeling, that's creating what's happening in your day. And when you start your days in ways that really tune you to feeling good, which, yeah, I'm seeing more than ever includes just being with how we are feeling, honoring what is true for us. So not overriding or bypassing. This whole spiritual bypass thing became a topic of like just not even letting ourselves go into the negative feelings because of this law of attraction thing. But obviously that's not really helpful either, because those quote unquote negative feelings are playing a role, right? And so I hope that makes sense and that you get that both sides with the feelings, that we can get into being more evolved about our feelings and finding ways to really connect with how we are feeling and working with that, and freeing up old feelings we've been burying, and this does tie into so much of our addictions. It's a whole nother video that really we're all addicted to something, right? So I don't believe in an addictive personality, but I think that we all have our addictions, but it's probably because we're overriding feelings, ignoring feelings, numbing feelings. So really, the more we build in our ways to deal with our feelings and also boost our feelings. And I mean feelings like mood, and then it is also going to translate into how you're feeling in your body, because it is all so connected, right? So anyways, a little piece on that, the importance of being present with what's true for us, working with it, loving it, embracing it, freeing it up, transmuting it, and transforming it, all with non-judgment. And because of the law of attraction reasoning that we are energetic beings, and right now we're sending out a vibe. So how we're feeling right this second is sending out something to the universe and attracting back more of that. So it's good reason for us to, in this moment, do whatever we can to just feel a little better, which we can do by just like relaxing and breathing a little more and paying attention to what we're focusing on, and filling up our moments with things that fill us up and tune us to how we want to feel, because that is very powerful stuff, and it's creating our future. Really, how we're feeling right now is attracting what's coming. So not to scare us, but just to empower us, and that even as we look back at how that's been true for us, and we can even laugh about it, but it's exciting that life isn't just happening to us. We're not just victims. That, yeah, it gets into this idea that we are creating it all. But there's this piece of honoring what is going on and loving our way through all the deep stuff happening, and even just coming into more of a heartful place with it all. So anyways, I could say so much more, but that's all I'm going to say for now about feelings and changing our relationship with our feelings, and actually why that's so important and could actually become our #1 priority. One of the teachers I love right now, Bentinho, says our #1 passion can be like how we're living our life and how we're how we're being in this moment, because now we see how important that is. So again, not a reason for judgment, because actually the non-judgment is going to help us shift even more too. But just, that's part of this owning it, that we are creating it all, and that means we can shift it all too. And how cool is it that it's about feeling better, but part of the feeling better is being present with what's true and not overwriting it, but allowing it, freeing it up, embracing it, and that likely that's just going to keep getting smoother, but especially as we just stay more in that feeling perspective or feeling mode with ourselves. So anyways, great stuff. So happy to share with you. Hope you're having a wonderful moment out there, and that you can go now find some ways to let yourself feel your feelings and feel even a little better right now. Namaste.